Hello Year 9. Hope you're all okay. Hope everything's gone all right with last week's work. Hopefully your teacher's going to explain to you when they set this that now we're setting you work in 1 week, and then the next week you'll have to do the assignment. So we're going to be setting you a new piece of work every 2 weeks rather than every week. Hopefully some of you will find that a little bit more manageable. Let us know if you have any problems, like always. If you're watching this as a video, all you need to do is press pause if you need some time to do something or look at a video or look at a book or anything like that. If you're watching it as a slideshow, just press escape anytime you need a break. Okay, so today's task is all about human organ systems, so this should be a little bit of revision for you hopefully, but it's really important moving forward to Key Stage 4 that you're clear about like the basics of what these organ systems do. So that's why we've picked it for this week. So this is going to be set on the 18th of May, so you're probably listening to this during that week, and it's going to be due on the 1st of June. So you've got 1 week to go through the PowerPoint, make any notes, do any research you need to do, also to ask any questions about the assignment, and then you've got the next week to do the assignment. So we're expecting something really nice, really detailed, lots of detailed answers, because you've got a whole week to do it. So on this slide here, just like usual, there's loads of links you can use. You'll have to use the PowerPoint version to get these links, but they should help you out for each different organ system. And you can do your own research as well, of course. Okay, so just to start with, now we're not going to mark this, we don't need feedback on this, so you just do this on a scrap piece of paper that you've got, or if you've got a notebook or something like that, whatever you've got at home. What I want you to have a go at is if you can match the key terms, so these key words, to these pictures. Okay, so which one's the cell, which one's the organ, tissue, organism, and organ system. And then the next part of that is to provide a definition for each. So what is a cell? What is an organism? So use the pictures to try and help you to do that. And if you do need some help, on the next slide there's a support activity. So if you're happy to go ahead without the support activity, pause now and have a go at this. Or if you're not and you want to have a look at the support, flip over, have a look, and then come back. Okay, so this is the support activity, and this gives you the definitions there. So they're the definitions, and they're the keywords, and you need to put those in the right box there, and those in the right box in that column. So pause it if you want to have a go using this support activity. Okay, so hopefully you had a go at that. We're going to see if we can add any more additional information to your notes about this now. So it says on the slide in the blue box that different levels of organisation show how organ systems are formed. And the diagram below is going to give you an example of the circulatory system. So the system that makes up all your heart, the blood vessels, everything like that. So we're going to see if we can add any extra info to our Do Now Connect activity. So we've got here a muscle cell, muscle tissue, the heart, and then the organ system that's part of. Okay, so on the information sheet on the next slide, which looks like this, but it's on the next slide, you need to have a look, and I want you to see if you can add any extra detail to your definitions, specifically thinking about the circulation example, and see how much detail you can give. So pause the video now, we'll flip over to the info slide and see what extra you can add. Okay, so here's your information slide. So pause it, have a read through, and see if you can add anything. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. Well done. Hopefully you added some extra detail. Brilliant if you did. So what I want you to do now is to mark your notes from that first part, this first activity. Hopefully you remembered a few bits. I think a lot of, when we teach this usually, you guys tend to have quite a lot of prior knowledge about this kind of topic, because people do have kind of general knowledge about organ systems in the body, don't they? So you probably do know quite a bit about this. So a muscle cell allows movement. Its adaptation is that it's got a lot of mitochondria to release energy. So should be thinking back to the other cells recap lessons we've done for home learning. Muscle tissue squeezes the heart or contracts the heart, so it's what makes your heart beat. The heart's role is to pump blood around the body. It's got muscle tissue and nervous tissue. So your heart is interesting in that it completely beats independently. So it generates its own electrical impulses to make the heart beat. It's really, really interesting, really cool. If you ever want to know more about that, A-level biology, we teach a lot about that. So that's really interesting. And the circulatory system, its role is to pump blood around the body, and the lungs and heart work together to pump oxygen around the body and remove carbon dioxide. So mark your work against what I have written there. I might have written things that you haven't. You might have written things that I haven't written. It doesn't mean they're wrong, just means that you're really great. So well done. Okay, so next part of the lesson, this is something that you are going to be given feedback on. So for this, you need to have a look at the Word document that we've attached to the assignment on Teams, and this table is in that Word document, so you can just type straight into that table. For this is well, everything we give you is an independent task at the moment, isn't it? But this one is, you can kind of do it however you want. You need to fill in a table about the different organ systems, and there are 6 organ systems for you to find out about. And there's information sheets on the next 3 slides that look like this. Okay, so there's information sheets on the next 3 slides, but you can also use all of those video links I pointed out to you on the first slide, or you can just use the internet to do your own research. Absolutely up to you, but we want to know what the organ system does. What do the different organs do in the system? I want you to explain if it works with any other organ systems in the body, and what could go wrong, and how could it make someone ill if that system goes wrong. Now, I've noticed I only look at my class's work, so sorry to use you guys as an example. I'm not going to name and shame though, but when I give you tables like this to do, I think a lot of you are writing really short answers in them. So we really want to see some detailed full sentence answers. That's what your teachers will be looking for in this table. So as much detail as you can. You're not going anywhere, you've got plenty of time, so let's all put our absolute best effort into this. Right, so next slide. So you've got digestive system here, information. I've just given you a basic overview. You're probably going to want to do your own research as well, and I think there's a video about the digestive system on the first slide too. Skeletal system, again, just a brief overview. You've probably got some knowledge about the skeletal system. We teach this in year 7, but again, you probably want to do your own research. And last one, we've just talked about this one, so this one should be really, really easy. And there's also 3 other systems: immune, reproductive. I can't remember the other one I put down, but it's on the thing. So do that on the Word document. Pause the video, give yourself some time. You've got a whole week to do this bit, so do that and then come back, and then we've got one more task. Okay, so this is the last task you've got to do for this fortnight. It's in the Word document on Teams, and you need to answer a 6-mark question. So the 6-mark question is identify one organ system and explain how the organs work together within the organ system. So I'm just going to give you an example of how I would answer this question, and I've split it into 4 steps. So I'll give you an example, and then you can use the same steps to answer it for a different organ system. So first thing I need to do is to identify an organ system, because in the question it says, I'm going to try and highlight this as I go along, identify one organ system. So that's a pretty good place to start, isn't it? So I've identified my organ system as the one we've been talking about all through this, the circulatory system. So no problems there. Step 2, what is in this organ system? So I've got the heart, veins, arteries and capillaries. Now obviously I'd need to write this as a full sentence, because in an exam situation you wouldn't have these these little questions here to break up your answer, would you? So you would need to say, in this system there is the heart, the arteries, veins, and capillaries, or this system is made up of these things. Okay, something like that. Right, next part, what does each organ in this organ system do? So again, I've laid out what each organ does. And then I need to make sure that's in full sentences. That's my last step. So there's my example answer. So it's all in full sentences, really clear, haven't given it any waffle. I've just said what I need to say and I'm done. Okay, so now you guys have a go. So use exactly the same steps as I've just used, but choose a different organ system, an organ system of your choice, one that you've done research about in the table. All of the answers for this part of the task should be in your table. If you've done that table really, really well, and in a really detailed way, you should have no problems answering this part of the task. So have a go at this and type your answer on the Word document. Use these support questions if you need to. Try your absolute best, and then that is it. And then you just need to submit your work on Teams. So that is the end of this week's home learning. So just submit that work for us on Teams. Make sure you submit it before the 1st of June so that we can give you some feedback. I don't know what's going on, but you might have to wait a little bit longer for feedback, depending on what we're doing. So I don't know. So don't hassle us. We are on it. And we love reading your work, and it gives us something to do in the day. I'm just talking for myself there. I don't know if everyone else thinks that, but yeah, I love reading your work. It gives me something to do. Okay, so my pick of the week for TV this week, and you can all watch this and say that you're doing your science work, is all about the sky. There used to be a TV show on all the time called The Sky at Night, and it's about stars. And what stars you can look for and how to find them and stuff like that. You can do this from a window, you could do it in your garden if you've got a garden, but watch the show. It's only half an hour, and then see what you can see in the sky at night time. Okay, so I will see you next week, but I'll speak to you in a couple of weeks for another home learning. Thanks very much for trying your best. Make sure you ask lots of questions. We love answering your questions as well. Thanks again. Bye.